So my name is Melissa Axelson, and I am one of the directors of New Jersey Center for Teaching and Learning. Thank you so much for signing up for this course with us. We're looking forward to help you cover the biology content that you need to know to be prepared to take AP Biology next year at your school. So your school has communicated with us which modules they would like you to do, and that you will take the test in person with them. I think the date is August 26th. So we've also came up with suggested pacing, and we'll take a look at that in a few moments as well. But I actually am biology certified and work full-time for the center right now and help with student enrollment and things like that. So I'm kind of here on the back end. If you ever had any technical difficulties or anything like that, I would be here. And then if Caitlin Dowling, if she needed backup, she would reach out to me. So Ms. Dowling, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I am Miss Dowling. I've been working a couple years now with NJCTL part-time, and then I also teach full-time at a technical high school in North Jersey. So I have my certification in biology, and I got my physics through NJCTL actually, and I do teach both. We give biology to our freshmen, but freshman biology, and then I teach my upperclassmen in AP biology at my school as well.
Yeah, so I think that this Miss Dowling will be a great instructor for you because she knows what to prepare you for the AP biology test. And she also has helped write a lot of our materials that you're going to be using in the class. So I think the first thing we'll start off with is I'll just do a quick overview of how to log in and make sure everyone's okay with that. And we will go ahead and then I'll show you a few key things in the course. And then Miss Dowling can talk about the assignments that are going to be graded and those opportunities. And then we'll open it up for questions at the end. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. So the website you always start out with is njctl.org. And everyone should have gotten, those of you that had paid last week or through the weekend, you would have gotten an email on Sunday with your login credentials. Everyone else, if you've paid since then, I've been sending them to you. So I've been sending them to the student's email address, to the Morristown Friends email address. So you need to just double check there. If you are not able to access that, or can't find that email, you can also just put a little note in chat and we can get you all set up and make sure you're squared away there. But you go to njctl.org and you're going to sign in. Your username, email address is your school email address, your Morristown Friends one. So please go ahead and use that. And then you have the password that we sent to you. I know it's a crazy, wacky password. If you do want to change it, I'll show you how you're able to do that. So once I'm signed in, I do have the My NJCTL option here in the upper right-hand corner. When I click on that, I see a bunch of information over here on the left. But if you go down here to Profile under Personal Information, this is where you could go ahead and change your password if you would like to. So that's the spot there. And if you ever forget your password, you can do a password reset right through the system. Now, this is one of my demo accounts, so there is a bunch of courses listed here. But basically, you're going to see one tile, and it'll say Biology or BIOL 401, I think. And you can click on that, or you always have this option, See All My Courses. Now, the very first time you log in, and I have looked, and a few of you have logged in, when you hit See All My Courses or that course tile, you're going to see this screen, all right? This request for permission. This is only once. You're basically just going to click Authorize to agree for your NJCTL account to connect to your Moodle account. So because I've already done that on this one, I just wanted to show you that screen capture there so you could see. Okay, so now if I notice and take a look at the URL, it says moodle.njctl.org. So we've connected to the Moodle online course platform. Moodle is just a way for instructors in schools to organize their material. Some schools use Canvas, Blackboard, there's all different kinds of things. But we use Moodle and we like that. So again, you're only going to see one course there. Oh, it's the biology 801. That's what yours is. So you'll see that and you click on there. And once you're in there, now you're going to see the different things for the course. So these top things here are, we do have a syllabus, and that shows the entire course. So if you've looked so far, you can see that we've only opened up a few modules for you here. These are the ones your school wants you to focus on. If you get done early, and or at the end of summer, I'm going to go ahead and open up all of those modules for you, because you're never going to lose access to this class. So when you get to mitosis and meiosis, in AP biology in, let's say October or November, whenever you're doing it, you'll still be able to come back to your NJCTL course to look at the materials, to review over them again, practice multiple choice questions, different things like that. So I just wanted everyone to know that, come end of summer, I will open up the whole course, but we're going to start with focusing on these modules here. 7 modules, I think, right? Yeah, 7. What Miss Dowling and I did do is we set up some pacing here. So this is like a link to a live Google Doc. So we're going to send out tomorrow morning a doodle poll, which basically you just pick the times that you would be most available, because we we kind of locked in some Mondays here for tests. So we're giving you about a week and a half to get through the first module, which is actually one of the shorter ones. So you shouldn't have any trouble with that. We kind of extended the second one because of with the 4th of July in there and things like that. And some people might be taking vacation or having company. And then from there, it's basically every Monday. So we'd like you to aim to have the test completed by those Mondays. I'm sorry. And because you're going to take that test on the 26th. But if you notice, you're also giving yourselves a little bit of time in there. If you're going to have, if you have another time where you're on vacation, or some of you might be working a summer job and have a week that's busier than a not. So Miss Dowling and I will work with you, but we did want to say that we're going to have one 1-hour Zoom session to review for each of these tests, most likely the Friday before. So or the Thursday before. We're going to send out a poll and see when the majority of people are available. We can also record those sessions for those that aren't able to attend and post them right in the course here. But once we figure those dates out, we'll put them here, and we'll probably add another column with the Zoom link and everything so you know how to get to it. But that's our general plan if we kind of stick with this pacing. If we get into a module and everyone seems like they need a little bit more time, we can always extend it. That's why we kind of gave ourselves some time there, and didn't cut it close right to when you have to take your test. The easiest way to communicate with Miss Dowling and I is actually through this discussion board that's at the top here. You got Miss Dowling's email, you have my email. I'm going to give you a tech support email that you can use. But the good thing about posting a question on here is that not only it doesn't just go to one person. It goes to Miss Dowling, it goes to myself. We put about 2 or 3 of our other biology instructors on the course as well. So it's kind of whoever sees the notification with the question come in first will jump in and answer. You might see a response from Dr. Ennis. You might see a response from Dr. Goodman. So, or Mr. Karayuki. They're the ones also on this course. So I really want to encourage you to post it this way. Miss Dowling set it up so that each module has its own spot. So when you click on it, what you can do is you are going to, it's not showing that I can hit reply. I'm gonna have to double check the settings. But normally it would be right here and you would be able to hit reply, and you would be able to ask a question about this module. So if we keep them organized by module, that way, everyone's going to see the answers too. So if one of you have a question about one specific thing, well, other people in the class might too. So that's why this is going to be a much better way to communicate, because we're going to be able to see each other's responses and in there, and help more than just the one person that might go ahead and ask the question. So you're always going to see that at the top. It's kind of neat the way these kind of collapse here, so you can just open up the one that you're on. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first module, and I open it up. I see the different things in here. So we have topics. These are the instruction videos that you watch that also have check your understanding questions. After every couple topics, you have multiple choice mastery exercises. All right, and then we got some more topics, some more mastery exercises. Now you have the assignments. You have a lab. All right, these are the same things, just the lab here is posted in Word. So if you didn't have Word, or you can always convert it to a Google Doc, you might need to open the PDF of it. That's really why it's there. Then there's a master exercises review, practice problems, and then the test will also open up underneath here. So let me just show you what a lesson looks like. And before I do that, if you've noticed over here to the right, anywhere where it says to do, okay, like these here, go through the activity to the end. So you're going to watch the videos and go through to the end of the activity, where you get to a screen that says end of lesson. And then if you see receive a grade, that's something that's going to show receive a grade. Miss Dowling, can you explain a little about the completion progress bar and how that changes?
Yeah, so right now you see everything is blue, which means not completed. So it gives you a good idea of what you are going to be doing. These are all of your graded assignments here. When you do submit something, but I need to go in and grade it, then it's going to look yellow, like the lab. And then when something is graded, it'll be green. So then you'll know that that has been completed, it's been graded, and the grade has gone through to the grade book. And do you want me to tell them about the mastery exercises and the question bank with
Yeah.
that, or
Well, I'm going to go ahead and
yeah,
do
take a
the
look at it.
topic here and take a look at it, and you'll see how
Mhm.
that's going to turn green for you. So it's kind of like a nice little table of contents, where you left off. So your video to watch is going to open up right here in the screen, and then we also post the PDF of the slides. Some people like to read through the slides first, then listen to the video, or if you're going back to review, you might not want to watch the video again, but you can look at the slides. But when you click here, the video starts. All right, and it plays right in here. And if we notice this one here, it's 4 minutes and 51 seconds. They're at the most 10 minutes. They're all probably more about 6 or 7 that you watch. And then you hit check your understanding on the bottom left. And right away, now I start to get asked questions that are check your understanding, check your understanding questions. You answer. These are not counted for a grade. This is just practice, see if you understand it. I hit submit, and right away it tells me I was incorrect. And then it gives me a video that I can watch, all right, of it being solved. You can try again, but you don't really have to. It's not counting for a grade. You can also just say no, go on to the next question. The important thing is that that if that you understand it right then and there. Okay. So again, obviously I don't understand, but I'm just going to click through these quickly just so you see what it says at the end of the lesson. Of course, you don't want to do this because then you're not learning anything. And, you know, we can always go in and see that you were just doing this. But I do not think you all are going to be students like that because you're doing this because you want to do AP biology. When you do get it correct, it still gives you the option to watch a video, which I think is great because sometimes maybe you guessed or you're not 100% sure why you got it correct. So sometimes you might say, I'm going to watch that video. And those videos are short, you know, 1 to 2 minutes with the instructor talking through the question and annotating, you know, on it as necessary with them writing on it. Okay, so now, see, congratulations, end of lesson reached. So I'm at the end of the lesson. This is where I wanted to be. I can hit down here and go on to the next topic. I can also go up here, see how these are highlighting blue? And like link back out to them. So if I click this module 3 one, it'll take me back out to where I was. And you know, it took me right to module 3, so that's kind of nice. But when I go up here, see, now I'm green. So I completed it. All right, so the mastery exercises. So of course, you're gonna take your time and go through these 3. I can see that it's green here too. Again, easy, so I know where I left off. If you have to stop in the middle of a question or your internet shuts down, your computer dies, it remembers where you left off. It'll say to you, like, let's say I left off on question 2 in this one. When I go to click on it the next time, it'll say, do you want to pick up where you left off? And just say yes, and it'll jump you right to there. All right. So mastery exercise quizzes. Notice grading method highest grade. So these have unlimited attempts and you can take them as many times as you want. When I hit attempt quiz, I'm going to get 6 questions here. So I'm just going to click through and answer some. Caitlin, I'll let you talk about how they get different questions and the
Yeah,
questions.
so with this, on our topics, we have big question banks that we pull from. So when you open it up the first time around, you're going to get, you know, a few questions based on the topics you've done so far. In this case, it's all membranes. But because it's the highest grade, you can go through it again if you're not happy with the score you got, or maybe you just want more practice. I know a lot of people that, yeah, they did really good, but they want more practice because they can get different questions. So it's going to tell you whether you got something right or wrong. It'll give you information on
Yeah, the
the answer
writing.
itself. Yeah. And then you can do it again if you want for a better grade and or just more practice. A lot of times I tell people to utilize this as sometimes like a review if they're, you know, are ready to take the test or anything like that. And we're going to pull from different question banks and they'll make sure that they cover those topics specifically that were in
Okay,
that.
so say you went through the first time and you got 100, you know, and then 4 days from now you're going to take the test, but you're like, let me review a little bit. If you go back in and take it a second time and don't get 100, it's still going to keep the 100 in your grade. So don't be afraid to go back and do that again. We also plan on, because you're not going to officially take a final with us. You're going to go, you know, do that test at school, but we'll put together a test similar to the one that you would get at school, pulling from all of the topics and everything. And you'll be able to go in and practice, you know, use that as a practice test. That's also kind of why we gave you that week buffer in there. So again, I can click to go all the way out to membranes and enzymes, or I can click to go back to the quiz because then it tells me my horrible grade of 1.67. But it gives me that. If I go all the way back out, I now have another thing that opened up as green. The other great thing too is from this little completion progress bar, if I click this next blue square here, it jumps me right to that topic too. So you'll figure it out. There's lots of ways to go back and forth between, the different activities and see where you left off and everything like that. So let's take a look. Any questions so far about the lessons and, the videos and things like that? Because, when you do get together for your review before the test, it's not going to be to go over the slides or anything like that. It'll be to answer questions that you have. Maybe Miss Dowling will put up one or two practice open-ended, because when you get to the end of the module and take the module exam, half will be multiple choice and half will be short answer, where you'll type your answer in an open-ended way. So the way that you get practice with those is you have to do some of these practice problems. Okay, notice over here, there's no to do, receive a grade or anything like that. This is just there for you. There's practice problems and extra multiple choice problems too. Normally you can click right on it, but I will just copy the link. And then this connects you back out to our regular website. If you notice in the URL, it's njctl.org. So you're able to go ahead and download this file. It's in Word. I guess it making me save it first. It's in Word and it has the answer key at the end. So these are the problems, the way that you're going to get practice for those open-ended questions that you're going to see. But you can see, I mean, it's a long list of questions. We're not saying you have to do every one of them. If, there is a review at the end, but there's all the answers. But like, let's look at this section here. All right, passive transport. There's a classwork section and a homework section. They pretty much mirror each other. So, it's not like you have to do everyone. You don't necessarily have to write them down. You can use, think about what the answer key is, think about what the answer is, look at the answer key. Anything else to add there?
Yeah, I mean, these are just another really good tool, especially for those open-ended questions. A lot of times, this is another thing I tell everybody to look at and utilize before you do take the test, so that this way it's kind of almost like a study guide a little bit, because it's not all multiple choice. It really makes you have to think about it a little bit more without any options in front of you, which could help too, because then when you get to the test, even for the multiple choice, you're going to feel a lot more confident about those multiple choice answers that you choose.
Yes, definitely. If you have access to a printer and want to print it out, you can, whatever you're more comfortable with. Um, this here would be the lab. This one is an assignment, so it's a virtual lab. Because we're not in person to do a lab, but it'll simulate something that you would have done in class in a school. So you basically have to download the Word file that's here. You can either type your answers on the Word file, or if you want to print it out and handwrite your answers, that's perfectly fine too. Whatever makes it easier for you. Some of them, maybe might they have to draw a graph or diagram in some of these, Miss Dowling, maybe? If you
Some of them might be, a lot of times though, it's a lot more of screenshots sometimes too.
Yeah.
So you might want to look first before you print something out. Because with these simulations, they're really good and you can actually interact and change things around. So we can say like, can you set this scenario up or something like that? So that this is happening. And then you can do that and take a screenshot to show that you were able to do that.
So a lot of them are PhET simulations from this University of Colorado in Boulder. That's really good. So the link will be right there in the diagram for you. I'm sorry, in the Word document. And they all just play through HTML. So you just want, if it gives you this option, you just want to do the top one, this browser compatible version, because a lot of us don't have Java anymore. So they had to redo a lot of their simulations to run right through a browser. So you just have to give it a second to load and it'll start up. So don't just look at this and say like, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do? You have to remember to go back to the document, read through the simulation, um, and then it'll tell you what to do. So you're going to work through here. You're creating different scenarios and answering questions. What happens, why, trying to see if there's any. I don't think this one asks for any screenshots. No. So, the labs are a good supporting to support the learning from the unit. So don't discount them. They are worth doing. If you get stuck or find a link not working, we'll be able to help you out. If you're not sure how it goes. So when you're all the way done, whether if you've just typed it out on here, you're going to save it as a PDF. So if you're in Word or even in Google Docs, you just go to File and Save as Adobe PDF. And then that, I'll save it to show you how we upload. Save as Adobe PDF. I have to save the file first. Of course, the computer.
While that's going on, I just want to say too, with the labs is the labs are a lot about application of the material that you just learned. And when you do take AP biology, I can say that College Board has changed that course to so much application. So it's not just like, oh, I remember that this happens and this happens and this happens. They're giving you scenarios and a lot of their questions on College Board. You're applying so much. So this is just going to be really good practice for when you do get to some of the more intensive labs that are required by College Board for AP biology. And then all of the way their questions are written. It's a lot of lab scenarios as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I'm all the way done. I've converted it to a PDF. If you've printed it out, you could either scan it to a PDF. A lot of you use Cam Scanner on your phone. You can also upload a JPEG. So if you had to just take a picture, but you can't upload the Word file, all right? You need to upload a PDF or a JPEG, because then Miss Dowling can annotate and correct your work right over top of it. So I say add submission when I'm ready to do that. Sometimes Moodle takes a moment to spin, so just don't rush it. Give it a second to load. I am going to get my PDF right here and just drag it over. I'm going to hit Save Changes. Okay, now notice I am only in draft mode. So all I did was upload it. So you could be sitting there waiting for your lab to be graded, but it's stuck in draft. So you got to make sure it gets submitted. Hit Submit Assignment again. Moodle wants to really make sure you want to submit it. So I have to say continue again. And now I'm green here. I can see I'm submitted for grading. If I go back out to my course progress bar, it turns yellow. So when it's waiting to be graded, your lab, it'll turn yellow there. Okay. Once it does get graded, you'll get an email notification that it's graded, and you can just click on that link and it'll take you right to the assignment. So that makes it pretty easy there. All right. With the tests, the difference about with the tests, I thought I had one open. I'm going to stop share and I'll let you explain how they do the tests, and I'll fix it so that we can see that first one so they know. But they're going to type all their answers so they won't have to upload for your response.
Right. So we used a program called Proctorio for our testing. So you will get a prompt that you have to make sure that that's downloaded, correct?
Yes.
Downloaded,
An
as opposed to like an
extension
install.
browser.
Yeah, an extension. Okay. And so Proctorio just monitors, make sure that we're doing things, correctly. There's no other browsers being open. They can see with your camera on your computer, so they know that somebody else is not there, that you're not having materials you shouldn't have, or your phone or anything like that, so that it can be an honest test. When you open up the test, you're going to have half of your points coming from a multiple choice question and half of your points coming from open-ended questions, kind of like some of those practice problems. So you'll go through, be able to, just like with the master exercise, see all the questions on the side. So you can jump to different questions if you wanted to, but you'll be able to go through it. It has a timer and everything, and answer your different multiple choice questions. And then when you get to your open-ended, or we call them free response, you're going to type your question directly in there. And that's going to allow me to be able to see everything right there. And like I said, half of the points are going to come. So about 50% of your grade is going to come from that multiple choice. And then 50% of the grade is going to come from the open-ended.
Yeah. So, you'll see this open in another day or so, but basically you'll see it down here, membranes and enzymes test, and it says remotely proctored. So in the contacts and technology guide, I'm pretty sure, yes, that's up top here, posted in the course. It explains a little more about Proctorio, but basically it's just shutting your computer down from any other browsers being open. It does record your video and your audio, and it's so we know that it's you taking the test, that you're the one actually doing it. So I'll put a sample test in there that you'll be able to do before you do the real test. It'll prompt you to download the extension. It'll let you run through it, make sure there's no mistake, anything glitchy with your computer or anything. Because once you start the test for real, the real test, you have an hour to complete it. So we want to make sure everything's up and running fine before you do it for the first time. So, you should probably only need 30 to 45 minutes. So you should have plenty of time. But the good thing is at the very bottom of the course, and we don't have it open yet, but we will have it open where you will see a retake section. We strongly believe in mastery, and that you master a topic, not necessarily that you do it the first time you take it. So that's why you get to retake the mastery exercises, the multiple choice mastery exercises. And if you are not happy with your grade, after you take a module exam, then you are able to go ahead and retake it. You'll check with Miss Dowling first. She might say, hey, did you do the practice problems? Maybe go through and do, the ones in this section or something like that before you take it. Maybe redo the master exercise. So she'll give you some guidance and something to do, so that then you can take it again. And all of the tests are pulling from a question bank, so everyone's going to get different ones, and things like that. Anything else? I think we kind of went over everything, Ms. Dowling.
Just saw in the chat, somebody asked if the module tests are asynchronous or if there's a specific time that you have to take them. So they are asynchronous. You can log, the whole course in a sense is asynchronous in that sense. You can log on, you can do things at your own pace and your own timing when works best for you. I definitely suggest the biggest thing is make sure you have a solid hour to just sit there, concentrate. Maybe, if you can go in a room and close a door, the least amount of distractions possible, because they are running, but it's asynchronous completely for you. The only thing is that we do give that basic pacing guide. So my suggestion would be take the test on the days of that we gave in the pacing guide. This way you can have time for the review session beforehand, but you certainly can do something before, a day before, or a couple of days before, depending on what your personal schedule is like.
Yeah, so we're going to aim for that review session to be like the Thursday or Friday before the Monday listed on this test date. We're just going to kind of poll everyone and see what works best. But so just take it from there. And if you can't do it on Monday and you do it on Tuesday, it's not the end of the world, but just know if you don't get through enough material during that week, you might not be able to take advantage of the review session the end of the week for the next unit. So that was kind of why we wanted to use that pacing with you. Does anyone have any other questions? my email follow-up will have a link to the video. I'm gonna also make sure you have Miss Dowling's email, my email. We have tech support at njctl.org. So if you have problem taking a test or something like that, we have a team of us that monitor that email on weekends and holidays, so that, if you had an issue first thing Saturday morning, it's not going to sit there until Monday. So I'll make sure everyone has that, and you'll get the link to do the doodle poll as well to tell us what day you think is best for the review session for you, and we'll kind of go with what the group thinks the most. Yeah, so that will come from me tomorrow morning. The one thing I do want to say about the proctored exams, if you ever get a message that it says there's a password required, there isn't a password required, I promise. It's the system's way of saying there's some sort of error. I don't know why they don't just tell you there's an error, but it's Proctoria's way of saying there's an error. And if you email tech support, we can, tell you what to do. It usually just means you need to clear your cache, log out and log back in. Sometimes just restarting your computer will make it all work. It's usually a cache issue in your browser, but if you get a password, I promise it shouldn't be there. So don't worry about that. Any other questions?